billahi minash shaitanir rajeem. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. Assalamu alaikum and a very warm welcome to World This Morning. I'm your host Hajra Sati and joining me is Fahim Bangesh. Assalamu alaikum Fahim. How are you doing today?
Wa alaikum assalam Hajra. Doing very well. Thank you very much. And I think since we do comment a one-liner or two-liner every time we start our program about the weather, well, the weather has turned horrible. It's horrid. It's, I mean, it's you get breathless. You don't want to breathe. So it's become really, really hot. But I'm really sure that the climate change is someday going to reverse. And I'm sure we are going to get some respite because obviously there are predictions that the rainfall this year is going to be a lot more than usual. But then, as we say, Rahmat ki barish, as we pray for that, we hope for the best, inshallah, for the people of Pakistan, for the people of the entire world. Now, Hajra, there is a news since we're talking about climate change.
And weather, of course.
And the weather. In the whole entire world, we're seeing changes in the weather. We're seeing different parts of the world. We're seeing wildfires. We're seeing storms. We're seeing...
I think the intensity of the rainfall that we are witnessing or receiving in Islamabad, I don't know scientifically whether you categorize that as, you know, a lower level of some sort of storm because the winds are so intense, especially I do remember 2-3 days back in my particular vicinity, there was so much billboards that fell away. There were trees that were almost slaughtered by those winds. And that is something that we are witnessing as of now. And the Met Office is obviously predicting that we are going to receive 35% more rainfall in this monsoon season. And they are also cautioning about how to keep yourself protected from this weather anomalies and fallacies that we are witnessing. But however, moving on to our news item, which is the Hurricane Beryl has wreaked havoc across the Eastern Caribbean, bringing powerful winds that have downed power lines and torn roof from the buildings.
And also scientists suggest that this climate change may have contributed to the unusually rapid formation of this fierce and early storm. Satellite footage from CSU, CIRA and NOAA captured lightning flashes within the eye of the Hurricane Beryl as it advanced into the Caribbean, also striking the southeastern Caribbean at Category 4 strength on the Saffir-Simpson 5-point scale. Beryl is spiraling towards the Windward Islands, posing a severe threat of catastrophic flooding and potentially lethal winds. This is not some good news that we are talking about. This is something to think about, something to ponder upon as far as the world powers are concerned, as far as we as individuals are concerned. Now, when we talk about responsibility, when we talk about existence, Hajra, have you ever thought about the reason of your being, the reason of your existence?
Of course, and this is a very pertinent question, and as a human, we all tend to reflect on that, and if we don't tend to reflect on that, I think we should, because I mean, there are a lot of people are nowadays facing this existential crisis. Why do we exist in the first place? And there has been a lot written philosophically from the different religions, from the different philosophicals who have delved deeper into this question as to why do we exist. And coming from an Islamic background as a Muslim, I have an answer to that, and I think that I came across this answer after reading through a lot, after delving through a lot, and that is because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wanted to create us for his ibadat. Now the pertinent question is that he had more obedient beings already present, like the angels who do not disobey, who don't disobey. So why create an insan or a human who is so disobedient towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala?
But and even as the Quran says that the angels said to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, this is the being, this is the creature which is going to wreak havoc on earth. Why are you creating it?
Right, right. And especially when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala asked the angels to prostrate before the Adam, and that was their argument. But then Allah said that you do not know what I know. And there's a capacity in the humans that we can transcend towards the highest potential, and that is why we are called Ashraful Makhluqat, the crown jewel of the creation. and we have also the tendency to fall below even the level of the animals, and that is why Allah called those humans sharre dawab, baddest than the animals out there, right?
As-safilin as well, as
Yes,
Allah
yes,
subhanahu wa ta'ala
yes.
says in the Quran.
So there are lots of names for that, but
Yes.
today we are going to have a very philosophical discussion regarding the existence, why do humans exist, and the knowledge that we all derive. So the acquired knowledge, the knowledge that came from the revelation, what is the point of the existence? And I think especially nowadays when people are running, because our system is geared towards very materialism,
Yes.
they're satisfying their materialistic needs, but I do think and I do feel that there are many people who are feeling this void in their spiritual self, and to fulfill that void, they're adopting a lot of wellness models from the East. So yoga, meditation, they are sprouting Sufism. There's a lot that has been written on that.
Well, so we shall delve
yes.
deeper into all this, and I think without much further ado, I'm going to introduce our guest for today. We have with us the esteemed Sardar Irshad Shaheen Saab. He is an author and has authored a wonderful book. Why do I call it wonderful? You are going to know as we talk about it.
And the book is called, he's the author of the Sufi and, Physics and Sufi Cosmology. That's a very interesting assertion.
Even the
right?
name sounds so interesting.
Yes, yes.
So imagine the depth and beauty of it when we talk about the book from the author himself, from what he has written, the golden words, after thorough research. Sardar Saab, Assalamu alaikum and welcome to PTV World.
Thank you very much.
Sardar Saab, now we often think about the reason of our existence. We talk about ourselves as we are a speck of dust. We talk about the planet Earth. It's a very small planet. The humans are insignificant beings, yet Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala calls us Ashraful Makhluqat, the best of all the creations, right? And then the best of all the creations has been striving since the beginning of time to look for the meaning of the existence, look for why are we here, why have we been sent to this earth, why has this life been given to us? I'm sure that was one of your motivational factors to start this book in the first place. Could you, in a nutshell, tell us what the book is all about? We will talk about this, but right after this short break, don't go anywhere, stay with us.
Explore dramas and discover documentaries. Engage with current affairs and Pakistani culture. Available worldwide. Live streaming. Free for all users. Download now on Play Store and Google Play.
welcome back, and without further monopolizing our conversation, I think we will straight go to our guest and ask him that why has he chosen a seemingly two different sort of topics, and how he has reconciled them, which is physics, which is a very natural sort of a science, and a religion, which is Sufi cosmology, right? So sir, without any further ado, please go ahead and explain, summarize your book.
Thank you very much for giving me this opportunity to explain the contents, some of the contents of my book. Actually, as you have already said, Mr. Fahim has said that we, right from beginning, right from our childhood and school days and college days, everyone asks himself, who am I,
True.
who we are, why do we exist, why this universe exists. Even Stephen Hawking, a great physicist of 20th century and 21st century, he also wrote in his book that I can answer the question how this universe works, but I cannot answer the question why does it exist, and why do we exist, and what is the purpose of life. So this question, this riddle has always been a riddle and puzzle for philosophers and for scholars. So that is why this book is my journey for search of truth.
Truth, yes.
Who am I? Why do we exist? What is the phenomena of this universe? Who created it? So one thing I want to clear, that this book has not been written on the basis of belief.
Right.
Because I have passed, personally I have passed through many phases of belief and disbelief.
Yes.
But this concept of this travel of doubts helped me in doing more and more research in various disciplines, including science, biology, physics, biology, philosophy, psychology, religion, mysticism, sociology. So this book has been written as a research book. I haven't written anything on my own. It is only 233 pages, but it has around 800 citations or references of other writers, authors, and authorities of various disciplines. It has been published in USA, Pennsylvania, and my publisher recommended it as a textbook to American universities
That's
for
wonderful.
research scholars and research and university students.
That's wonderful.
It's quite costly in Pakistan rupee exchange rate.
Because of the paucity of the time, can we quickly move to what is actually written in that? Because it is so exciting for me. The title is so captivating, and we really want our audiences to explore that, because I think not many people delve into philosophy. It's
Yes.
a very difficult subject to absorb,
yes,
right? So
yes,
please go
yes.
ahead.
What compelled me is that when I was studying various subjects, including, of course, my first priority was science, modern physics, and because it relates also, astrophysics relates to the creation of universe, and you might have been acquainted with the Big Bang theory.
Yes,
Yes.
yes, yes.
And because previously Newtonian world was different, and then Einstein's theory of relativity almost changed the worldview, and after that quantum physics has almost changed the worldview, particularly in the old belief that we can explain everything through science and materialistic approach. Now what compelled me, or what persuaded, not compelled, but what persuaded me to write, to give title to this book as Physics and Sufi Cosmology is that after the discoveries and calculations and hypotheses of quantum physics, latest theories of quantum physics, it has been observed that there is no certainty at the deepest level. It is uncertainty and probabilities and possibilities. The world is the world of possibilities at its deepest level, probabilities. So, there is nothing certain. This gave rise to interest in spirituality also.
True.
And in 1975, Fitzgerald Capra, an American physicist, wrote a book, Tao of Physics. You might have heard about it, or you might have read about it. He tried to establish and argue that there are many parallels between Eastern mysticism and modern science. So, it became one of the bestsellers. When I read that book, I also I was influenced by that book, because I was also studying the same phenomena through various disciplines, including modern physics, and then spirituality, psychology, biology, and then I found that there are not only there are parallels between Muslim mysticism, which is known as Sufism, but I was amazed to find that Sufism is compatible with modern science, with the theory of Big Bang.
I think entire Islam is compatible with the.
Because now, with the passage of time, we have been watching, especially in the last century, how science has been coming up with different things which have been referenced in the Quran long time back, I think 14 centuries back. And what I believe it's truly fascinating about what you've done is that we see the conflict at the surface level, whereas you say there are connecting threads at the bottom level, in the depths, in the depths of that ocean that we have of knowledge, right? Because knowledge is one, basically. It comes from one entity. We just have to find those connecting threads, and I think that's exactly what you've done in order for people to learn that, to understand that everything comes from one source, exactly.
Yes, which is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, right?
Precisely.
So many physicists now believe that this universe is not a collection of fragmented pieces, but it interlinked. And then some psychologists like C.J. Jung and others, and even scientists, they have found, or they believe that there is an integral connection between human self, human psyche, and the universe. And Sufis have always been pleading it, including religion in general and Sufis in particular, or mystics in particular, human self and the universe. It is interlinked. Though at the deepest level, there is no conflict. I didn't find any conflict between what you call faith and modern science, because I have found that the concept of Tawheed, oneness of God, is a scientific concept.
True.
After I analyzed the whole phenomena of theories of modern science and the theories presented by Sufi philosophers. Why Tawheed is a scientific concept? A physicist, a famous physicist, American physicist, Kepler, Frank J. Kepler, he wrote a voluminous book, The Physics of Immortality. In that book he says, and I quote him, the Muslim concept of oneness of God, the Muslim concept of oneness of God is mathematical theorem. it is mathematical theorem. So he put forth his theory of omega, theory of creation and the end of the universe. It is just like Big Bang theory, more or less. But now let's find, because time is brief, without going to superficial and nitty-gritty of religious belief, let us know why Big Bang theory is compatible with the Sufi cosmology. Muslim philosophers have also been writing. Farabi and Ibn Sina and Mullah Sadra and many other philosophers, they were influenced by Plotinus. He was non-religious mystic philosopher of the antiquity and a very, 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 very famous mystic and philosopher. He influenced many philosophers and Sufis also, mystics also. So they said that this universe emerged through 10 emanations or various emanations or manifestations. They called some said that there were 8 emanations, some said there were 5 emanations, etc., etc. But Sufi philosophers, including Muhyiddin ibn al-Arabi and before that Sheikh Abu Sa'id al-Mubarak, the master of Sheikh Abdul Qadir Gilani, he wrote a small booklet in which he has clearly described the creation of universe in 6 stages or descents. He wrote a booklet, small booklet, Tufatil Mursila, the gift of a pistol.
Right.
And in that book he said that there were 6 descents. Descents means the travel from subtle world to gross world. This would mean that God created this universe in 6 descents or 6 manifestations or 6 tajalliyat. Why 6? Because in Bible and Quran we have read that this universe was created in 6 days.
Yes.
6 days means 6 stages. So they categorized it in 6 stages. The scientists, Stephen Hawking and others, they have categorized it in 9 stages or 6 stages or 7 stages, just to describe the creation of the universe. There was no stop or gap.
Right. Sir, it's very unfortunate that we are a bit pressed for time and we will have to wind up our discussion, but it's such an interesting discussion, and I'm sure if you can show your book on the camera, people can see the cover of this book, the name of this book, so that people can actually, and that's okay, that's okay. We just want to see if you can please zoom in. Yeah,
this book is now being published from Karachi, from Royal Book Company, and its cost will be very low. It will come to market in about 2 weeks' time. Its cost will be not more than 2,500.
Lovely,
right,
lovely.
right.
So
And
and it will be available in markets.
Right,
Lovely.
and I think there has been a lot that has been written and there's been discussed, and especially in the aftermath of the quantum physics, because once again, like he mentioned, it points to the Tawheed, or the concept of the unity, and this concept is not just found in Islam. The concept of unity, we do find its reiteration in different religions,
Yes.
but we will save this debate for other time. We are going on a short break. After we come back, we have an interesting segment lined up. Don't go anywhere. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
ये खेत कल्याण गोह दमन फूल चमन इस नीलगो आसमां तले समेटा है मैंने अंदर अपने इस जहां की हर दौलत को मैं हूं अर्ज़ पाकिस्तान
Welcome back to World This Morning with Hajar Sati and Fahim Bangish, where we had a wonderful and productive discussion before going on the break. And now the discussion we're about to have is equally, if not equally, well, especially as far as the weather is related, it's very relevant because we are going to be talking about what sort of diet patterns are we to follow, especially when faced with this humid monsoon or this very hot season that we have been having in Pakistan and the entire world. Of course, we're all experiencing that. We're all a victim of that. So we have been joined in the studio by none other than Miss Anisa Sohail. She is a clinical dietitian, and obviously when it comes to diet, we say that it's a trend these days, especially for people to lose weight, for people to go according to the weathers, okay, what's going to suit us, what's not going to suit us. So yes, we're going to talk a bit about that as well, because obviously if we have been given an opportunity, why not talk about it?
Of course. So, Assalamu alaikum, Ms. Anisa, and thank you so much for coming to our show.
Thank you for having me.
So, Mr. Nisa, we've seen, like Fahim alluded to, that it's a very humid weather and a lot of people are experiencing low blood pressure because of the dehydration, right? So, what sort of a dietary regime would you recommend to people who are out there to protect themselves from this entire very strong heat wave?
So, there are two things about maintaining the diet or certain hydration level in this weather. There are two things, there's water content and then there's electrolyte balance.
Right.
Because when we sweat, basically sweating is a natural mechanism of the body. We sweat because our body is trying hard to keep our core temperature stagnant,
Stable,
which is
yes.
which is 37 degrees. So, our body is trying to keep that temperature stable, and this process is called thermoregulation, and sweat is a mechanism, a defense mechanism by the body. So, when we sweat, we not only lose a considerable amount of water in terms of perspiration, we also lose a certain amount of electrolytes like sodium and potassium.
Right.
So, we need to make sure that basically all this low blood pressure, dizziness and all these things happen because the balance is lost. Our thermoregulation and the heat outside, our body trying to keep up with the heat and everything.
And how to immediately recover from that faint heat?
I'm coming to that.
Right.
So, to replenish that, we have to I have like a checklist of like fruits and drinks and vegetables and all those things. So, coming to the water content part, there is nothing that's going to replace the need of actual like pure water in your body. So, you got to take that 7 to 8 glasses of water, obviously. And then we come to electrolytes. The fruits in this weather, the naturally available fruits, they are the solution to the problems of this weather as well.
Okay.
They are packed with antioxidants and electrolytes. Banana, for example, has a very high amount of potassium.
Yes.
And then we can have lemonade using a sweetener. We can add rock salt, lemon, mint, and there are some naturally occurring spices that have a cooling effect on our body, which include turmeric and cumin seeds. These are just a few examples. Apart from this, we can include, obviously there are melons and berries, there's so many berry family fruits available, lychees and mango. So, the concept is eating a rainbow.
All right.
Because there are so many like plethora of colors
yes.
involved in the fruits and everything and vegetables. So, the concept is eating a rainbow, which is packed with phytochemicals, flavonoids and antioxidants, which not only prevent us from the heat, it also prevents us from cancer and has like a bunch of other benefits, vitamin B complex and everything. You were talking about replenishing like immediate thing, lemonade is a very good option. And then buttermilk, lassi, curd, eating curd a lot, like yogurt and everything. Kachi lassi, which is a very specific thing that is consumed in Punjab. You mix like 3/4 of milk and 1/4 of water. It's a very common drink. And then sattu, which is a local drink. And then sugarcane juice, which is also a local drink. Although diabetics should be careful while consuming or use a sweetener instead of using sugar and like shakkar and everything, jaggery, but they should consume all these things. We are trying to stray to electrolyte waters and these fancy drinks, but all we have to do is go seasonal, traditional and local.
Because obviously these days people are going towards stuff that is more organic, right? Also, especially now since Hajra pointed out to people with low blood pressure, I myself at times do get low blood pressure, plus I perspire a lot. So what do you think about the consumption of the ORS that's available in the market?
Yes, so if somebody is actually actively going through extreme dehydration and their actual clinical symptoms, which is you have diarrhea or you have significant dizziness and headache and that kind of thing that you cannot keep functioning day-to-day activity, then you should go for that. That's a very good idea. You can add it to other drinks as well. Lemonade or just water or any shake you're using or any smoothie you're using, it's a very good idea. You should definitely go for that.
And also, as far as the fruits are concerned, they say, especially since diabetes is quite rampant in Pakistani society.
It's the number one, Pakistan is number one in the whole list.
Diabetic index,
Silent
exactly.
killer,
So, since fruits also contain lots and lots of sugars, how much is too much?
That's a good question. So, every diabetic patient is kind of different because you have to see if they are going through type 1 or type 2, and then you also have to see how they have managed their diabetes throughout the years. So anybody
right.
who's going through type 2 diabetes, they've obviously acquired it later on in their life due to their lifestyle and those things, you know, the external factors have impacted the how fast they've acquired type 2 diabetes, and type 1 is obviously completely different. So we have to see how well they've managed their diabetes. So according to that, every person is different, but half cup of cubed cut fruit is like a general portion that they can consume. But also you have to see that no food can be hated upon. There's like a lot of fear mongering around, don't eat this food, don't eat that food.
Exactly,
But
exactly.
the true way to go about living a sustainable lifestyle with or without diabetes, with or without a plan of weight loss or weight gain or whatever, is to have a balanced diet and consume from every food group.
Okay.
And
Right.
you have to, it's the sunnah, and why else would Allah Ta'ala give us so much if they were not good for us,
True.
right? So to relate any bad thing with any food, that just create a bad relationship with the food. So you got to consume in controlled portion sizes.
Because they
but
talk
consume-
about this as far as mangoes are concerned. Diabetics should not have mangoes. They
That's true.
contain a lot of sugars.
And I think moderation is something that is also enjoined upon us as a Muslims, and I think it's a very beautiful concept, and this is what Dr. Anisa was alluding to, that we need to have a balanced diet. And balanced diet means eating food from every group in the moderation. So now Anisa, so we have seen, like he mentioned, it's very fashionable to lose the weight, and we've seen that it is an entire, I think, dietitian marketing which is flourishing out
Something
there.
that's very close to
Diet
my heart.
plans, yes, and whatnot, right? People are selling very expensive, I don't know, the water
Fad
with the
diets.
cucumbers, and I don't need a
Detox
detox
waters.
water, and yes. So for someone who wants to lose weight, right, and we've also seen that the element of mobility has been substantially reduced in our lives, right?
And plus, to add on to that, there is a concept that you tend to lose more weight in the summers. Is that correct?
I think it's because naturally the natural heat and everything, it causes us to have less appetite,
Right.
and consequently we tend to eat less as compared to winter. We tend to eat more because we need insulation, and the kind of, when we digest food, heat is released inside the body, so that actually helps us keep warm. So that's like a brain signaling process that you got to eat more to keep yourself warm. And consequent opposite to that, in summers we're eating less because the body is so busy in thermoregulation of the body itself, that it's like, no, don't give me food, I cannot take the heat from the digestion as well. It's like that. So that's why people don't eat in summers. They're like something light, something easy to digest, things like that. So this is the reason for that.
Right.
I see. And what about, for example, like Hajra was mentioning, the smoothies and the
yeah.
cucumber drinks and the detox drinks? Do you think they actually work?
So it's about
And
what
also
the-
comment on the keto diet plans. I mean, there's a lot that has been written,
It's
which is
in
refuting.
vogue.
Yes,
Yeah.
the people who are refuting, that it's not a very successful mechanism if you want to reduce the weight. So as a clinical dietitian,
Because I've gone through that, and I personally believe it's not sustainable. As a dietitian, what would you say?
that is what I was going to say. Actually, it's not sustainable. As I alluded to that before as well, anything that you have to make any health journey sustainable. That's the purpose of it. So you can actually live a life and live a moderate lifestyle out of it.
Yeah.
So if you're going for if you're diagnosed with something and you need to lose weight, then keto diet is effective. It is effective because the principle, technically, scientifically, the way metabolism work in keto diet, the body going through ketosis and everything, that actually does makes you lose weight. It
Yes.
actually does burns fat. But
Well, I
can
did
you
that.
continue it for more than 2 years? Can you continue it for the rest of your life if you're not based in an image-based industry, and it's not your literally your work and your bills are paid because you look good? Can you do it further? So that's the question. So scientifically it does works, but there are also consequences if you prolong it further, like to a longer period of time. It affects your kidneys and liver. And then you asked about the fat diets and detox waters
Yeah.
and smoothies and everything. So every person has a certain maintenance calorie bracket.
Right.
If you're eating whatever you're eating, whatever you're drinking, it's inside those calories, and it is actually made from like healthy ingredients, organic ingredients, homemade, then it is going to have positive effect. But that is of course like someone with PCOS,
Oh yes.
I wouldn't recommend them to, or someone with high cholesterol, I wouldn't recommend them to have a smoothie made out of a full fat milk, for example.
I see.
So
I see.
that's the thing. Somebody having diabetes, if they're drinking a smoothie, I would ask them to add like some sort of raw vegetable in there, like a cucumber or ginger or baby spinach, you know, something like that. So you have to be careful about that. About the detox drinks, you can consume detox drinks in this weather as well. It's not going to make you lose weight, but it will affect your metabolism. It will provide you with antioxidants. It will provide you with vitamins and minerals. It will make your skin shiny. It will make you feel good. And also water, and just if you're on a weight loss plan and you're drinking detox water, it actually suppresses the hunger signals inside your brain.
I
so
see.
that's a thing.
Just one last question before we wind up. They also talk a lot about apple cider vinegar.
Yeah.
How helpful
Yes.
is that?
Oh, it is helpful. There is a certain there's a certain figure, I'm not remembering correctly, it's either 60% or 70%. If you take vinegar, apple cider vinegar before food or with the food, it actually cuts the sugar level by that percentage. So it is helpful. Also, the world is finding about it right now. It's in the trend. Everybody's drinking apple
Yes,
cider
yes.
vinegar. But Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam used to
Sallallahu alaihi wasallam.
consume vinegar, organic vinegar in his diet. Also, it affects your probiotics, gut health, and gut health has a lot to do with the general functioning of your body, because we do have cells. Everybody knows that body has a lot of cells, but our microbes inside our gut, they're actually more than the cells. For every one body cell, we have 10 microbes in the gut.
In the gut.
Yeah.
All right.
So,
all right.
looking after your gut health is equally important as anything else.
Right, and thank you so much for telling us, for enlightening us about the dietary regime, especially what we are experiencing, the intense heat wave. So make sure that you are protecting yourself from this very hot and humid weather, and also the animals that are around you, because you can voice out your needs, right? But the birds, the
Yes.
dogs, the stray cats, they can't do that, right? So make sure that you have an earthen pot placed there and replenish that and fulfill that with the water, because they need your help, and also it's Sadqa Jariya. Thank you so much, Anisa, for coming to our show.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure.
For having this wonderful conversation, and we are bidding you farewell. Until next time, it's a goodbye, Allah Hafiz, and good morning.
morning.